And I know which section of the game we're making our way into. So coming up is a new area and a pretty long cutscene, but also another very challenging boss for a low percent run. Kind of looking forward to showing this fight. Though there's a significant chance that I might get destroyed a few times. It's kind of rough on low percent. Mostly because it has only one attack that's counterable, and that attack is also a one-shot, so sometimes it might not be worth the risk to go for the counter. Welcome to Ferenia. This seems to be an old Chozo temple. It reminds me a lot of the Chozo ruins from Metroid Prime, actually. And here we actually have a bit of a check to see whether you have all the items the game wants you to have at this point. So basically, here it's just like, do you have the grapple beam? Well, you've passed that check. Now, do you have the flash shift? We passed that check. So yeah, just in case you get in here early, they want to make sure that you have both of those abilities before you proceed. And in here, this is an Emmy zone. I keep missing you for some reason. There we go, got you, and there's nowhere to go but to slide down here.
Anaman Henki Maradis, Pisalakutar Ili Zoha Hasana, Ili Chozo Manfaragai, Atasen Maboris, Ashkar Behek, Ninu Gabara Neporien Levat Balis Hemniku, Hemsenili Tanumar Tarbi Chozo Rahama Hasana, Maboris Ili Maukin, Sahari Lin Ili Maukin, Pinoras Hasana Tarbi Chozo. Urairisi dos Karodan ili Mathroid, Nirmugi talar suradis me ili agarna lima, Uramahar pantamugi dos salal pura Mathroid, Kunihabari hundar talasabekes en Honchanim, Linkatalu ili uliris, Sabalba, Ashkar Behek, Hasari gale ubana dos elegar mir, Ninu barash nek ili ferun dar hadar, les ninu kedar, ili mathroid mugi, tanam dar bi hadar bunta, eiris dos eka ili gimel, ashkar behek gabori dos balan ili mathroid, dos ili tarin nalima hemsatar, kumpim bi kalki sakra, dos horek bura, ninu mehirin ili zoha hasana, Bimura Gabara ili Sahali, Dosuran ili Mathroid. Galmir Tostek, Ananakolen Mugi Akalai. Ashkar Behek, Hem ili Maukin, Hasana Hasari, Anabalta dos Humahar Sarian. Ili Darin Alima. Les Nudakan dos Geren Humahar Korgangal Turuta Mathroid. Sabalba. Talaris le shak sirugali nevak, Hemmugi lamai dos goro humahar yoris me kohana. Aitar ili gelsu manu naloni ishka ili agarna lima, Mugi garama bi eris les nido. Ili tarin lima megori le shakutanka, Omtar humahar gelsu mugi barilin ilieris. Arek ebores ashkar behek elemeirisi dos karodan hum. Ninu aros hakame ninu mahar meheni dos tumema ninu mahar yoris. Ishili mathroe meilia garna lima. Habari bama mugi sarali lina tamahar toshek. Nutili mathroe desborodo. Ilioristar ashkar behek. Dora habar bados les maradan. Has bados les maradan. Ashka ulugal ata. Iliemai marhuma satari lin ashkar behek. Tamus arlan. Feje hadoran. Ninu habar kumane hundos. Tevolen ili mathroi dim ishkanulisa tamaharisbi.
Kino ulu turuta. Ana maril sanur pura. Ay marhel kalon.
Ata estor daboris urahama. Ana habar kisadi ilisata. Anaman bala meyata tamus.
Okay, no time for mourning. Let's face off against the Robot Chozo Soldier. That right there, the blue blade can be countered. The red blade attack that these things do cannot be countered. Flash Shift is extremely good in against these things. The general idea is just to Flash Shift everywhere and just pepper it with charge shots and pray, basically. Normally, this thing normally isn't too bad when you have a lot of missiles, but when you don't, you can get more missiles by countering it, but as I've said, it may not be worthwhile to go for the counter always, because again, if you miss the counter on the blue blade attack, it is a one-shot. On low percent at least. And that red blade attack has a huge hitbox and can quite easily hit you if you, even if you seem to be on a platform higher sometimes. Yeah, that's the charge shot. The charge shot is not quite a one-shot, but it's almost a one-shot. Oh, there's the red blade. Yeah, so that can still kind of hit you even if you're on higher ground sometimes. I'm out of missiles, so now it's entirely down to charge shots. And I feel like charge shots in this game aren't quite as strong as they were in Metroid Fusion. Charge shots were a really important part of your 0% arsenal, or 1%, because 0% is technically humanly possible in Fusion, but it's incredibly difficult. It requires a shine spark that is barely humanly possible. Oh wow, I actually killed it on my second try. That was surprising. Yeah, as long as you play Keep Away, it's not that bad, but it's still a rough fight. And that is far from the last we'll be seeing of Robot Chozo soldiers. And so, farewell, Henry, as he's called by spoiler-minded people. Okay, we can grapple up there, but is that... Don't really think that's going to lead us anywhere productive right now. Hi there. You are totally frozen for the rest of your existence and will never be a threat ever again. I mean, obviously. Like, there is no way that thing is ever going to reactivate. I mean... You know, what kind of game do you think this is? Oh, okay, yeah, we have to go this way. So, if you speed boost through here, I can actually fail at that. Right, you can wall jump up here if you time it right. Not timing it right. Okay, so if you run up against this fan, you can build up a speed boost charge. I'm just going to do that. Sometimes I can keep that charge going into... You guys are going to die right now because I don't like you. Yeah, like, you saw how much health they took off of me. They can kill you pretty quickly. And that's a cold room. I just want to show something here. That's nothing major, but there are actually speed booster blocks over there. You can get that, Missile Tank Plus now, if you're pretty good with keeping a Shine Spark through that, wind. That's one that I'll have to come back for later. There are a few ways to get that one. Some people do a diagonal downwards ball Shine Spark. Other people just, shoot through those blocks, fall through them, and then stop yourself in midair and then Shine Spark, to the right. Yeah, stopping yourself in midair so that you can use a Shine Spark is another advanced speed boost technique. If you press the shoot button while you're in the middle of a spin jump, Samus will stop spinning and go into a regular standing jump. And only those can be Shine Sparked out of. You can use that to, basically, continue your, Shine Spark momentum and do various things for Shine Spark puzzles. Trust me, if I ever do make a bonus video where I get all of the power-ups, I will be showing that.
Our profile friend has explained much. We now know why the enemy are pursuing you. Samus Aran, Raven beat Lord Uvier. He wants the Metroid DNA that exists only within you.
Said DNA is actually the baby's DNA, so that plot point's come back again.
I have confirmed that Quiet Road has deactivated all remaining enemy. You should now be able to reach the surface unthreatened.
Oh yeah, sure, we'll reach the surface unthreatened. Those Emmy are totally gonna stay deactivated forever.
The route Quiet Road opened is in Verenia. Return there immediately.
That was like the moment that I saw that happen, I was just like, yeah, having all the Emmy get deactivated this early is too good to be true. It's not a matter of if the Emmy get reactivated, it's a matter of when. But I suppose we'll see when and how they end up getting reactivated. There are, however, only 2 Emmys left, and it's actually quite a while to Berenia. I honestly feel like they do this on purpose. They kind of want to give you a little bit of time to decompress after that cutscene. Yeah, you see now why I wanted to avoid fighting these things. Thankfully, there's an energy recharge here. They wanted to give the player a bit of time to decompress after that cutscene, process things a little bit, and try and get their head around what was going on there. So some of the plot points there actually tie into Metroid 2 and the remake, Samus Returns, which I have not actually played yet. It's made by the same team that made this game, though, Mercury Steam, and with how good a job they did on this game, I am very excited to one day try Samus Returns, and that is now a cold room, so I have to go down this way and hopefully not jump right into Mr. Big Robot. Or I could have just run through the Emmy zone and pulled that grapple beam block and got through here. Well, I see you're still as inanimate as always. Do not like these laser things. But a few other things that I want to remark about regarding that. So firstly, people have actually analysed the Chozo language in that cutscene and found out that it is not just gibberish. It actually does have a pattern to it, and kind of does work like a real language, which is honestly really cool. Didn't know you could even jump over those things. You learn something new every day. Secondly, the music that played for that exposition sequence was the Red Bryn... It's often called Red Brinstar by the fan base. I think it's like Lower Brinstar officially. I don't know what like the actual official name of it is, but it's that particular part of Brinstar. So the thing is though, for me though, I always knew it as the Lower Torvus Bog theme from Metroid Prime 2, because they also remixed it in that game. Again, for like Lower Torvus Bog. But I don't think it ever got like permanently associated with Torvus Bog, the same way that that's the Lower Norfair theme from Super Metroid, which is also what the Red Brinstar theme is from. In the same way that became associated with Magmore Caverns. In fact, it actually appeared in Samus Returns, and in that game, the remix was actually called Magmore Caverns, even though that was not the place it originally played for. But again, like, my first Metroid game was Prime 1, so I know that song as Magmore Caverns. And again, like, I know Red Brinstar as the whole watery portion of Torvus Bog, where you fight a lot of Brogs, and there's the Alpha Brog, or is it Blog? Those water serpent enemies. I know there was an Alpha variant that there was a mini-boss fight in that game. I haven't actually played Prime 2 in a really long time. I kind of want to go back to it someday. Now, I could take a shortcut here, but it would get me an item, so I can't do that. I can, however, take this shortcut. The shortcut that I mentioned you actually can take on your first pass through here if you, get the grapple beam early. Oh no, not you again. Die, 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 die. I forget how much damage that does, and I don't want to find out. Speaking of doing a lot of damage, you also didn't drop energy. That is worrying. But I think there's a recharge coming up. So yeah, here. I keep forgetting whether it's the left or the right side of this that we have to climb up. But this is the path that Quiet Robe opened. If I remember right, these things like to send sludge everywhere. And I believe I guessed wrong. I think it is actually this side that we have to climb up. And at least, actually... So, sometimes the diffusion beam, I almost forgot its name, that shows how little I use it. The diffusion beam is actually good for something. It can kill certain things through walls. It's still, in my opinion, a pretty lame power-up, and, like, I kind of don't... Like, I kind of wish it didn't exist, but oh well. We take what we can get. And I'm not going to forget to activate this map station, even though I don't really need it. I mean, I say that, and I still find myself getting lost a few times. It's one thing to be able to navigate this game when playing on your own, and it's another thing entirely to be able to navigate while also giving commentary, and also playing with one energy tank. So, yeah, that green teleportal, you'll want to remember that for later, but there's quite a lot of the lower part of Barinia that we haven't actually gone through yet, and we can't actually go through yet. We'll need to come back with that thing. Oh, actually, no, that's nowhere near as bad as those other things that vomit out the little firefly guys. Yes, I have silly names for all of the enemies because I don't actually know their official names, and admittedly, the official names of a lot of Metroid enemies are equally weird. Many of them are left in Japanese. I'm gonna tentatively name these guys acid mortars. So that's kind of what they're doing. There is a missile tank up there, but I would normally get that if I were not on a low percent run. Ugh, this thing. Die, please. Thank you. And I can diffusion beam you through the wall just because I can. Oh, this thing right here. I hate this one. This one's really hard to avoid. Yep, just spamming missiles on it is probably the way to go. Now, one thing that I kind of wish the grapple beam had going for it is I wish it was a bit more useful in combat. There actually is a combat application of the grapple beam, but we won't be seeing it until way later in the game. Come on, give me the counter, give me the counter. No. Oh, actually, I got it that time. That was kind of lenient. Yeah, I can break that, just for an easy way back in here. But yeah, again, combat application of the grapple beam, we'll have to wait until pretty much the second last fight in the game to actually see that. And it's totally optional too. So here is energy. You can hit that through the wall via shenanigans, and it actually skips an entire, something, I'll just say. Okay, yeah, you aren't nearly as bad as your earlier brethren. Because you might notice something, there's a few tentacles around here. To quote Vax from Critical Role, nothing good is ever tentacly. Yeah, look at all those tentacles there. Oh, see, that's the thing that vomits out the fireflies. Yeah, really don't like that thing. Although, I'm liking it more ever since I discovered that, yeah, there we go, there's the counter. Ever since I discovered that dash melee actually kills the firefly guys pretty easily. Climb up here. This is yet another check of, like, making sure that you have the grapple beam. Okay, yeah, that can be a little tricky, and look what we have here. It's a boss door. I wonder what that might imply. Fortunately, this block stays gone if you die to this fight, and I know that from experience. Some people might think it's kind of embarrassing that I have died to this fight, because many people consider this the easiest boss in the game. Honestly, this actually took me a while to figure out when I first played, because this is more of a puzzle than it is a fight, and while there are hints in this cutscene, I didn't quite pay attention to them, and I didn't realize what they wanted me to do. Okay, so for this attack, when the tentacles wiggle is when you want to jump. And then this tentacle up the top is vulnerable to both the beam and, like, to both regular shots as well as charged shots, and missiles, of course. And the red fireballs are indestructible. Being underwater, though, you want to leave yourself enough time to maneuver around them, because everything takes longer underwater, obviously. The tentacles always go at the same height, regardless of what height they start out at. I may have made that mistake earlier here. And here, you actually have to shoot that, because otherwise, with this room not fully... with the water still there, you will not have enough time to zipline across before the tentacles reform. And here, just pummel the center a little bit, and then counter that. That'll give you more opportunities to shoot it. It makes the fight go a lot faster, which in a fight that has a lot of one-shots, you generally want things to go faster. Okay, that, you need to grapple up to dodge those tentacles. And more wiggling tentacles. And now here, yeah, now it's spawning 2 red fireballs and 1 green. So this shows that things are getting a bit serious. And okay, those hurt more than I remember them hurting. Can only take 1 more hit from the red fireballs. Oh, grapple up. At least you basically get a free shot on that tentacle this way. But if you're still up on the grapple point there, by the time that the lower tentacles go, then the upper tentacle will hit you. And now, yeah, it's already dead. So if you're good at dodging and you know all the tells, this fight doesn't last very long. But it is a bit of a threat on 0% because all the tentacles one-shot you. So you'll be seeing a lot of outtakes for this one. I consider that fight honestly more of a puzzle than an actual battle because, yeah, it took me a while on my first playthrough to figure out to shoot that and also to shoot the top tentacle. And then you just fall through the floor. Like, that's it. You don't even get a power-up or anything else. It's just like, yep, that's it. Fight over. And now here... Yeah, there's like an item down there, but I think it requires the gravity suit at this point. Oh, I am still on very low health. I probably should take this. And this is why if you blow up the thing from across the wall, you can skip that entire fight. Yeah, there's another one here. There may even be a third one if I'm remembering right. No, it doesn't seem like a third one. And you have to stay grappling here because I think most of the floor there is actually a fall through. Let me just try and confirm that. Yeah, that's a floor through. Anyway, probably a good idea to save here because we're heading out into a new area. And as we had a lot of cutscenes and exposition there, I think now might be a good time to stop for the moment. So I'll see you next time for a new area. And actually one of my favorites in the game. Gonna say no time for mourning, but this thing's already hit me with its worst attack. This is a robot Chozo soldier, and yes, this is the pain I was talking about. In low percent, most of its attacks hit very hard. Some of them can one-shot you. Yep, there we go. I knew I'd die at least once. And here, you want to jump when you see the tentacle wiggle. That's kind of a weird sentence out of context, but yes. Wait for the wiggle and then jump. But now it's just wiggle tentacle. That one-shots you, right. And now it's second verse, same as the first, except we're on the opposite side of the room, and there's also another attack that, okay, yeah, that, alright. We need to grapple up for that. Oh, and, yeah. Get the feeling it's gonna start doing tentacles again soon. This is, okay, that's just wiggle tentacles. Okay, it's this. For this, you have to grapple up to dodge. Oh, I did that too. I jumped too early.